So good morning, students. Today we'll start with Act 2, Scene 1. This scene takes place in another part of the island. I told you in the very beginning that except the first scene, that except Act 1, Scene 1, the rest of the scenes will take place in the island. Right? So this scene takes place in another part of the island. Now, as all of you know that the ship has wrecked and all the passengers, they are on the island. All the people who were on board the ship, they are on the island. So they are separated from one another. They are in groups, you can say. Ferdinand was the one who was alone, and the rest of them were in small groups. So let's start. Now this scene, it takes place in another part of the island, and who all are present here? The people present here are Alonso, who is the king of Naples, Sebastian, brother of King Alonso, Antonio, the Duke of the present Duke of Milan, Gonzalo. Yeah, Gonzalo is the counselor of Naples, the king of Naples. Right? He belongs to Naples. He doesn't belong to Milan. While writing your answers, most of you have said that he was the counselor of Prospero, which is incorrect. Right? So Gonzalo, then Adrian, Francisco, and others. So they are the other people who are present in that group. Now they are roaming in the island, and now let's see what they converse. Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all of joy. So Gonzalo, being a wise man, he's a wise old man, and so he is talking to King Alonso. King Alonso is sad, depressed, and why so? Because his son has drowned. I mean, this is what he believes, because he saw his son jump into the sea and get drowned. Though everything was an illusion, Ferdinand is very much alive. You know that Ferdinand is alive. He is on the island, right, with Prospero and Miranda. This is what we did in the last act. But for King Alonso, he is drowned because he saw him jump into the sea with his own eyes. And so he believes that his son is dead. So that is why he is sad. So what Gonzalo is trying to do, he is trying to console King Alonso. And he says, beseech you, sir, be merry. So he says, beseech you means I pray you, I request you, sir, please be merry. Please don't be so sad. Please cheer up. Please be cheerful. You have cause, so we have all of joy. So you also have a reason to be merry. You also have a reason to be happy, and you also have as much reason to be happy as we have. Both you and the other people who are here with us, all of them have a reason to be joyful. So why are you sad? Please don't be sad. For our escape is much beyond our. Why? What is the reason to be happy? Though all of us have incurred certain losses, some near and dear ones of all the people standing here, they are down into the sea. But again, still, in spite of our losses, we still have some reason to be merry. And what is the reason? That for our escape means our escape from death, that we are alive, that we didn't die. That is the reason to be merry. That is the reason why we should be happy. So we have cause, so have we all. So all of us have a cause for joy is much beyond our loss. So is much beyond our loss means our loss, though I agree with you that all of us have lost some, one or the other, but still, because we are standing here alive in front of each other. So this reason is enough to be merry. Beyond our loss means in spite of our loss, right? We should be happy. Our hint of woe is common. So our hint of woe means we all of us have a common reason to be sorrowful. All of us have a common reason to be sad. And what is the common reason? That we have lost someone or something in that shipwreck, right? So that is the common reason which all of us have, that all of us have been separated from our near and dear ones. So though all of us have this common reason to be sorrowful, to be sad, but still, and this is the common thing which is, this is the common thing between all of us. Every day, some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant and the merchants have just our theme. So he says, but this is something which is a very common phenomena in the sea. Many ships, they sail every day in the sea. And so our sorrow is very similar to whom? Our sorrow is very similar to some sailor's wife. The sailor who is drowned in that sea. The sorrow of his wife and our sorrow is the same. Because that sailor's wife lost her husband, and we also have lost someone whom we love. So our is common. Every day some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchants. So the masters means the captains of the ship. Of some merchants means of some merchant ship, right? And the merchant. So either the captain of some merchant ship or the merchants or the owner or the ship owner have just our theme. Have just our theme means have just our subject. So all these people, we don't have got a very unique sorrow to be sad. We don't have any unique reason to cry, right? Our cause of sorrow is very similar to all these people, to the wives of sailors, to the merchant ship owners, and to the captains of the ship. Our cause of sorrow is similar to all those people, and your cause of sorrow is similar to everyone who is standing in front of you, right? All the members of the group. So what he is trying to tell King Alonso is that you are not the only one who is suffering. You are not the only one who has lost someone whom you love. There are other people there, and this is something which happens every day in the sea. Have just our theme. Have just our theme means have a very similar subject, have a very similar topic to be sad. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like. So Gonzalo says, but instead of feeling sad for our losses, what should we do? We should be happy, right? We should be joyful. We should be cheerful. Why? Because this is a miracle that we are alive. But for the miracle. So this miracle that we didn't die in the shipwreck, that we, in spite of all the calamities, in spite of such a disastrous event which we faced, in spite of such a disastrous calamity which we faced, in spite of all these things, we are alive. I mean our preservation. I mean our preservation means that we were preserved, that we managed to escape this calamity, right? So preservation means our escape from this calamity, from this problem, from this disaster. I mean our preservation. Few in millions can speak like us. So we are the lucky ones. Why? Because it's only few in millions who are able to save their lives, who are able to remain alive in a shipwreck. Shipwreck is something which kills most of the people. It's only the lucky ones who manage to breathe after such an incident. And so that is the reason why we should be happy, why we should be joyful, because we belong to the category of those few, those handful people who are alive after a shipwreck also. Few in millions can speak like us. Can speak like us here means that few in millions are able to survive and talk. You can talk only when you're alive, right? If you're drowned or if you're dead, you won't come and talk. So here, can speak like us means that who are alive. It's only few people in millions who are able to talk, who are able to survive, who are able to live after such an incident. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort. And so that is why I'm asking you, my good sir, my lord, my king, that you should weigh our sorrow with our comfort. Then you should try to compare our sorrow with our comfort. Comfort here means the escape, the preservation, that we are alive. So if you will compare both the things, the sorrow, our loss, with the loss which we incur, the loss of the loved ones, the loss of property, and the loss, all the types of losses which we incurred because of the shipwreck. One place, keep all these things. And on the other side, what are you supposed to keep? The gift which we got, that we were the lucky ones, that we are still alive. If you will compare both these things, our losses to our life, then I'm sure, sir, that will be cheerful. And you should think wisely, because this is the only wise thing which you can believe at the present moment, or which you can consider at the present moment. Because Gonzalo was a wise man, so he will always talk all the wise things. Alonso, pray thee, please. But Alonso was so much into his grief, he was so sad that he said, I request you, please keep quiet. See, when you are not happy, when you are not feeling good, then you don't like people. If you are mourning over something, or if you are like you have lost someone who was very close to you, and there is someone who is standing there and continuously consoling you, relieve it, this was supposed to happen, you should be happy that you are alive. So then what will happen? After some time you start feeling irritated. So the same thing happened to Alonso. He was not interested. He was in deep sorrow, and so he was not actually interested in listening to anyone. And so he said, I request you, please keep quiet. Pray thee, peace means, peace here means, please be quiet. Means I want some peace. I don't want to listen to all these words of consolation which you are speaking in front of me. So you please be quiet and let me be alone for some time. Sebastian. And what Sebastian and Antonio, what are they doing? They are talking amongst themselves. Right? They are like, they are having their own discussion. And what does Sebastian say? Sebastian is not saying to the entire group. Sebastian is talking to Antonio. And what does he say? He receives comfort like old porridge. So he receives comfort like old porridge means, the comfort here means the words of consolation. What is Gonzalo trying to do? Gonzalo is trying to console Alonso. So Sebastian says that who is he here? King Alonso. King Alonso receives comfort like cold porridge. Cold porridge is something which you don't like, right? When it is hot, then only you will relish it, right? You will relish the taste. So that is what he says, that he receives comfort like cold porridge. He is taking, Gonzalo is trying to console him, and he is behaving in a very cold manner, right? He is not liking it. He wants Gonzalo to be quiet. So all the words of comfort he is taking like cold porridge. Antonio to Sebastian, the visitor will not give him over so. So Antonio says, you need not worry, because the visitor will not give him over so means, doesn't matter, even if King Alonso doesn't like it, even if he is taking his words of comfort, means Gonzalo's words of comfort, as something which is which he doesn't like, even if he doesn't relish it, even if he doesn't like it, even if he is taking it as cold porridge, then also you need not worry, because Gonzalo is someone who will not be discouraged. He is not going to spare him, right? Means he will go on consoling. This is what he means to say. And he is talking to Sebastian. Antonio to Sebastian. The visitor will not give him over so. So he is not easily going to give up in his effort. So like a visitor, the comparison is to a visitor. Gonzalo is compared to a visitor who goes to visit someone who is sick. He knows the person is sick. Then also he will go, he will trouble him. Right? These type of visitors, all of us must have faced, right? At some point of time, you are sick, you are injured, you want to rest, but there are visitors. They will surround you and they want to know, and then again you will have to repeat the same story, right? How you got hurt, what happened, then so that's actually a torture for someone who is sick, who is unwell. So that is why this comparison. Antonio says to Sebastian, the visitor will not give him over soon. So Gonzalo is the type of visitor who doesn't give up easily. So he is not going to leave the sick person no matter how hard Alonso tries. No matter how much Alonso wants to be at peace and wants to be alone, but Gonzalo will not keep his mouth shut. He will go on consoling him. Sebastian, look, he's winding up the watch of his wits. So what happens? Gonzalo keeps quiet for some time, right? Maybe he was thinking of what next to say, right? So what else he can say to make Alonso feel good. So what does Sebastian say? Now this is Sebastian's comment on Gonzalo. He says, look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike. So he's winding up the watch of his wit means he's gathering all his wits. Now something is going in his head and he's thinking of something to speak. So it means he's gathering all his wits, and then by and by it will strike. By and by it will strike means very soon he will come up with something, and very soon he will definitely say something again to comfort Alonso, right? Gonzalo to Alonso, sir. So the moment he said this, the moment Sebastian said this, Gonzalo spoke up. He said, sir. So now Sebastian was correct, right? Because Gonzalo kept quiet for some time. So Sebastian said, you don't worry, he will, after some time, he's just trying to think what is the next thing he should utter. And so after some time, he will speak. And the moment he ends his statement, Gonzalo speaks up. He says, sir, and Gonzalo is talking to Alonso. He says, sir, Sebastian, 1, 10. So Sebastian says, now we'll count. This is the first one. So what all he would say, so they start counting. See, they are just enjoying everything. They are standing in one corner, and both Sebastian and Antonio, and they are enjoying the conversation which is going on between Alonso and Gonzalo. So this is the first thing which he will utter. So he starts counting. 1, 10. Speak, see. 1. Gonzalo. When every grief is entertained, that's offered, comes to the entertainer. So Gonzalo, now some other few words of wisdom he is able to think, and then he says, when every grief is entertained. Entertain means welcome. Now see here, the figure of speech used is pun. And what is a pun? Pun is a play of words, right? Now entertainer here is used in, entertainer here has two meanings. And entertained also here has two meanings. So when every grief is entertained, that is offered. So when every grief is, if you entertain here means welcome. So if you will welcome any grief which is coming to you, this is the meaning of Gonzalo. Pay attention because this is important. When every grief is entertained, that is offered, comes to the entertainer. So entertainer has two meanings. One is the one entertainer. It's a pun on entertainer. See, entertainer is the person who is in a sorrowful mood also, and the entertainer is the innkeeper also, right? So in this sentence there is a pun. When every grief. So if you are sad, right, and if you welcome any kind of sadness, see, it's up to us. It's up to us whether to, if some sorrow is approaching us and we don't want to be sad, then we'll stop thinking about it. Yes or no? It's up to you whether to think about something or whether to ignore something. So that is what Gonzalo is saying. When every grief is entertained, that is offered. Life will offer you several moments of grief, will give you several reasons to be sad. But it is up to you to welcome those things, to welcome those sorrows, or not to allow them to enter you. So he says, when every grief is entertained, that is offered by life, comes to the entertainer. Now, entertainer here means the innkeeper also. Another meaning of the entertainer is the innkeeper, right? So, and what is the meaning of Gonzalo? Means the person who is grieving. I told you, entertainer is taken in two different ways here. So the meaning of Gonzalo was to the entertainer, means the person who is grieving. So he says, if you will entertain, if a person decides to entertain every grief which is coming to him, then what will happen? He was about to say something, but he was interrupted by Sebastian. Then comes to the entertainer. Entertainer means the grieving person and the innkeeper also. But he is not able to complete his sentence. Gonzalo is not able to complete his sentence. What happens? Sebastian interrupts. Sebastian says $1. He says, comes to the entertainer. Then what will come to the entertainer? He says $1. Now, what Sebastian has taken? Sebastian has taken the other meaning of entertainer. That is the innkeeper. What will happen if the innkeeper will entertain someone? If the innkeeper will give shelter to someone, rent his inn to someone, then he will get what in return? $1. $1 here means money. Right? So Sebastian is taking the other meaning of entertainer, that is the innkeeper. And that if you take the meaning of entertainer as the innkeeper, then also this sentence will be correct. Right? When every grief is entertained, that's offered, comes to the entertainer. Then what happens? If an innkeeper entertains the guest, then what will he get in return? He will get $1. So Gonzalo was not able to complete his sentence. He was interrupted by Sebastian. And Sebastian says $1. Now Gonzalo says $. Now dollar has two meanings. You can see the difference in spelling. D-O-L-L-A-R and D-O-L-O-U-R. Now D-O-L-O-U-R means grief or sorrow. And D-O-L-L-A-R means money, currency, right? So Sebastian says that the innkeeper will get the $. But so Gonzalo also says $. Comes to him indeed. So he has taken another meaning of $, which was with reference to the sentence which he was talking about. Are you able to understand? Right? He is taking the other meaning of $. Gonzalo says, yes, very correct. $1 will come to him. But Gonzalo's meaning was that grief will come to him. D-O-L-O-U-R $, means grief. D-O-L-L-A-R $, means money. Right? Because Sebastian took the other meaning, that is of an innkeeper. So which $? Will he get? He will get D-O-L-L-A-R $. And Gonzalo was talking in some other reference. He was talking for sadness. He was talking about sadness and sorrow. So which $? Will he get? If he will welcome grief, what will he get? He will get grief only, no? So he will get D-O-L-O-U-R. That is why I said that a pun has been used here, and means they are playing with words. Shakespeare was very fond of this figure of speech. So Gonzalo says $. Comes to him. Indeed, really, you very rightly said that he will get $. You have spoken truer than you purpose. So what he said, that though your intention was not to speak it, but somehow you spoke correctly, right? Though his intention was just to mock at Gonzalo, right? But somehow whatever he said, that was suitable according to what, that was suitable to what Gonzalo was talking about. Are you getting? So that is why he says, you have spoken truer than you purpose, than you wanted to say. Though you never wanted to say something, though you never wanted to agree to something which I was talking about, right? Though your intention was to oppose me, but somehow what you uttered is perfectly correct. Sebastian, you have taken it wiselier than I meant you should. So Sebastian replies, huh, but you have taken it wiselier. So he is talking to Gonzalo. He says, nah, I didn't utter whatever you wanted me to utter. It is you who have taken it in a more deeper sense than what was my intention, right? I never intended, I never expected you to take it in such a deep sense, this dollar thing. But you took it in a much deeper sense. You took the much deeper meaning of the word which I uttered. My intention was not that, right? You have taken this word more wisely than what my intention was. So Sebastian says, you have taken it wisely than I meant you should, Gonzalo. Therefore, my lord. So Gonzalo just leaves Sebastian, and then he again continues with his consolation speech, which he was giving to Alonso, right? Because he has thought of so many things which he wants to speak, right? To comfort King Alonso. And so he says, therefore, my lord. He leaves Sebastian after this statement, and then he starts talking to King Alonso. And he says, therefore, my lord, Antonio, why, what a spendthrift is he of his time. So Antonio says, it's really a shame. Pi means shame. This word was there in Merchant of Venice also. You have studied last year. So, why, what a spendthrift is he of his time. What a spendthrift means, a spendthrift is a person who wastes. Normally it's used for someone who is extravagant, who wastes money, right? So, but here the meaning is with reference to words. So he says, it's really a shame on him that he wastes so many words. Means he goes on talking, right? It's very shameful that though king doesn't want to listen to him, he is pleading in front of him that please keep quiet. I want to be at peace. I want some peace in my life for some time. But this person is not ready to give up, right? That is why he was compared to the visitor who goes to visit sick people, right? They are a real torture. So Antonio says, 5. What a spendthrift is he of his tongue. Of his tongue means of his words. Alonso, I pray thee spare. So Alonso is not willing to listen to anything. He just wants to be alone with his sadness. He says, I pray thee spare. I request you, please leave me. Please, I want to be alone. Spare means please don't talk. Please spare me. He starts begging. Request you. Please spare me. I don't want to talk at the present moment. Gonzalo, well, I have done, but yet. So Gonzalo says, well, if you want me to stop, I will stop. But, and then he was about to say something further. But he was interrupted by Sebastian. He will be talking. So he completes his sentence. Whenever you will find a dash, it means that the sentence was not completed and he was interrupted by someone, right? So Gonzalo says, well, fine. If you want me to stop, I will stop. I have no problem stopping. But the moment he says but, Sebastian completes his sentence and he says, but he will be talking. But he's not going to stop. He will go on talking. Antonio, which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow? So now what happens? They are like enjoying everything, Antonio and Sebastian. So Antonio says, which of he? He is for Gonzalo, right? Whom do you think? He, Gonzalo or Adrian? For a good wager. Wager means bet. First begins to crow. Crow here means to speak, right? So Antonio says to Sebastian, now let's have a bet. Whom do you say will speak first? So Adrian was also one of the persons who is very fond of talking. So Antonio offers a bet to Sebastian and he says that let's have a wager and let's bet on this particular thing, who will speak first, whether whether Gonzalo will speak first or whether Adrian will start speaking first. Sebastian, the old cock. The old cock is Gonzalo. So Sebastian says that I go with the old cock, means I go with Gonzalo. I'm sure Gonzalo will be the first one to speak. The Antonio, the cockerel. Cockerel means the young cock, right? Because they have used the word crow, na? So that is why they are talking about Gonzalo and Adrian as cocks. You remember, you just see first begins to crow, right? So that is why they are referring to Gonzalo and Adrian as cocks. So Sebastian says, I think this old cock, that is Gonzalo, will be the first one to speak. Antonio says, no, but I think this young cock, the cockerel, that is Adrian, will be the first one to speak. Sebastian, done, the wager. Done, the wager. So the wager means then done. Okay, fine. You go with Adrian, I go with Gonzalo. Now, what is the bet? Means what will the person who loses, what will the person do? So the wager means what's the bet? Antonio, the laughter. So the person who loses will laugh. This is what they decide upon. The person who loses will have to laugh. Sebastian, a match. So a match means, okay, fine, I accept your bet, and then let's see who starts speaking first. Adrian. Though the silence seems to be a desert, so who was the first one to speak? Adrian, right? The moment they decided upon their bet, Adrian starts speaking. You see, they are standing in one corner and talking to each other. So Adrian and Gonzalo and King Alonso, they don't know about their discussion. So Adrian says, though the silence seems to be a desert, he starts his normal conversation. So he says, though the silence seems to be a desert, and then interrupted. Sebastian starts laughing. He says, ha ha ha, so you are paid. So Sebastian says, okay, so because I lost, Sebastian lost now. Because Sebastian said that Gonzalo will be the first one to speak. But who spoke first? Adrian spoke first. And because Adrian spoke first, so Sebastian lost. And then what was the wager? The wager was laughter. So Sebastian laughed. He said, ha ha ha, I have laughed and so you are paid. I have paid you. Adrian, uninhabitable and most inaccessible. Now Adrian completes the sentence. Though this island seems to be a desert, uninhabitable and most inaccessible. Inaccessible means a place where it's difficult for humanity to reach, a place where it's difficult for human beings to go, right? Beyond the reach of mankind. So it's uninhabitable means the people don't live on this island. People, then it's like so difficult to reach this island. Yet. So Sebastian says, yet means, see, he's going on talking. Again, Adrian talked, right? So Adrian also uses this yet in his sentence. Antonio, he could not miss. So Antonio says, see, he cannot miss taking your words also, right? Because Sebastian used the word yet. What was the meaning of Sebastian? He wanted to say yet again. He is the one who is going on talking. Means this young cock, that is Adrian, is again he spoke first. So Sebastian, that was the meaning of Sebastian when he said yet. So Adrian was going on with his sentence. What was Adrian's sentence? Though this island seems to be a desert, uninhabitable and almost inaccessible, yet. So it was in continuation that he said yet. Antonio, he could not miss it. He could not miss it means, see, he cannot even miss taking your word. So he cannot resist, he cannot help taking your word, because both of them spoke yet, na? And Sebastian was the first one to say yet. So that is why Antonio said this. He cannot help taking your words. Adrian, I must needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temper. So this was after such a long time, Adrian was able to complete his sentence. What was the sentence? Though this island seems to be a desert, uninhabitable and most inaccessible, yet it must needs to be subtle, tender, and delicate temperament. This was the complete sentence of Adrian. Subtle means fine. Tender means mild. And delicate means, again, something which is very soft and tender. So temperance here means temperature. So what was the meaning of Adrian? He started talking about the island. He was talking about the island, right? As something like a very general and normal conversation. He started talking about the island, that though it's very difficult to reach on this island, though this island is inhabitable, but again the temperature of this island is very fine, very delicate, and it has a good temperature, right? The weather is very good. This is what he meant to say. Antonio, temperance was a delicate wind. Now Antonio took the word temperance. What was the meaning of Adrian? The meaning of Adrian was temperature. That the temperature and the weather is very good. But Antonio took it as a name of some lady. Antonio said temperance was a delicate wench. Delicate wench means temperance was a delicate, lovely girl. Wench means a young girl, right? So a young woman or a young girl. So Antonio says, yes, I know temperance, and temperance was a very lovely girl, right? Sebastian, and subtle, as he most learnedly did. Yes, and she was subtle too. Now here the meaning of subtle. What was the meaning of subtle? Adrian used subtle with reference to the temperature. So he meant fine temperature. The temperature is good here. The temperature is fine here. But what is the meaning of Sebastian when he uses subtle? His meaning of subtle was sharp-witted, right? Someone who is very shrewd, someone who is very cunning. So Sebastian says, when Antonio said, yes, I know of temperance. Temperance was a young girl. It was a young and lovely girl. And then Sebastian said, I am subtle too. And yes, she was subtle too, right? Means she was shrewd, she was cunning, she was clever, and as he most learnedly delivered, as he most wisely said. Because Adrian said, no, that temperance is subtle, right? Go to this line. It must needs be subtle. So Adrian talked about the temperature as being subtle. Antonio took temperance to be the girl. And another meaning of subtle he took. That is, she was clever too. As this learned person, Mr. Adrian, has spoken about temperance, that the temperance is subtle. So she was shrewd and cunning too. So Adrian says, the air breathes upon us here more sweetly. Then he continues with his words which he was saying, with his speech which he was saying about the island, which he was delivering about the island, right? He continues with his conversation. He says, the air breathes upon us here more sweetly. So he's, after the island, he starts talking about the air, the breeze which is blowing upon this island. He says, the breeze upon this island blows very sweetly. It's such a pleasant breeze, such a pleasant air blows upon this island, as if it had lungs and rotten ones. So Sebastian again interrupted, and he said, as if it came from some rotten lungs. Means he is not liking the island, and so they are always trying. What are these two people trying to do all the time? They are, Sebastian and Antonio, they are always trying to interrupt someone or the other. So if he starts praising the air, he says, yes, the air is so pleasant, as if it is coming from some rotten lungs. Then Antonio further adds to it. Antonio adds something to it, and he says, or as 'twere perfumed by the fen. What is a fen? Fen is a marsh, right? Marshy places, right? So he says perfumed by a fen. And obviously, what type of a smell will you get from a fen? Foul smelling, right? Not a pleasant smell, very bad smell, right? Because it is muddy, and then the water, stagnant water is there with all the microbes thriving upon it, and so it has a bad and unpleasant smell. So Antonio adds to what Sebastian said. Sebastian said, as if it had lungs and rotten ones. So because Adrian praised the air. Adrian said that the air which blows upon this island is so pleasant, right? It's like, it's very sweet air blows upon this island. So Sebastian said, yes, very sweet, as if it had lungs, and those lungs were rotten ones. He didn't find anything pleasant about the air, and so he contradicted Adrian's statement. And Antonio agreed to what Sebastian said, and even added something more. Or as it were, perfume weapon. Yes, like it was coming from some rotten lungs, or it's very similar to the perfume which comes from the marsh, right? Or some marshy place, right? So this air which Adrian is calling to be, which Adrian is referring to as being sweet and pleasant, that is very similar to the smell which is coming from a pen. That is very similar to that kind of foul smell, bad smell. Gonzalo, here is everything advantageous to life. So they are like, they are talking in different groups. Antonio is talking to only Sebastian. They are like commenting. This is what people do, na? At times we also, whenever we see, two of them, they will stand in one corner and they will go on passing their special remarks and comments about the discussion which is going on among other people in the group, right? Few people are very fond of doing it. So this is what Antonio and Sebastian are actually doing. They are having their own discussion, or rather they are having their own comments for what the others are discussing. Here, so Gonzalo says, here is everything advantageous to life. So he says, yes, upon this island there is everything which is advantageous to life. Means everything which can support life is present upon this island. Everything which is favorable to life, which is favorable to human life, that is present upon this island. Antonio, true, save means to live. So again he interrupted and he said that, yes, very true, except the means to live. What job will a person do on this solitary abandoned island? So he said, yes, everything favorable to life is here except the means to living. Gonzalo, how lush and lusty the grass looks, how green. So he doesn't mind what they are doing and what they are saying, and he goes on praising the island. He said how lush means very luxuriant, right? So lusty means very fresh. So then he starts talking, Gonzalo starts talking about the grass. He says, look at the grass, how green and fresh it looks. How green and fresh, and how lusty. Lusty means that there is a large amount of grass there, right? So he says, it's so full of, the ground is full of grass, and the grass looks very fresh and looks very green. The ground indeed is swelling. So Antonio, because Gonzalo was talking about the grass, which was very green and very fresh, and the ground was covered and full of that grass. So Antonio has to say something which is contradictory to what Gonzalo said. So he said, the ground indeed is swelling. So he starts talking about the ground, and he says, but the ground is brown. Tawny means, tawny is the color. It's like a yellowish brown color. So he says, yes, the grass is green, but the ground is yellowish brown in color. Sebastian, with an eye of green in it. And Sebastian says, and it just has a very slight tinge or very slight hue of green color on it. Where is that lush green grass? I can only see the tawny or brown colored ground with just a small amount of grass on it. Right? Tinge here means with an eye of green in it, means with just a tinge, right? Or just a shade of green in it. So again he contradicted what Gonzalo said. Having just a shade of green, or just a hue, or just a tinge of green and covered with green, there is a difference, right? So because they were just standing there to contradict, so they again said that. So the ground is indeed 20, and Sebastian said it just has a tinge of green color in it. Antonio, he misses not much. So Antonio says, yeah, and he talked about green color, so he doesn't miss much. The only difference was that I can just see a small amount of grass